It's Connor, and this video is how to be lucky. 4 things that you can do to bring more luck into your life. 4 things that distinguish the way that lucky people behave as opposed to unlucky people. And some of these ideas come from a professor in the United Kingdom called Richard Wiseman, who for the beginning of his career, he was a magician, and the last part of his career, he's a professor of luck, investigating and studying the phenomenon of luck in human life. And for many of his experiments, he brings in people and he asks them to rate how lucky they are in general. And people rate themselves 1 to 5. 1, nothing lucky ever happens to me. If I buy a lottery ticket, I lose it. If I go into a restaurant, I never see anyone I know. Lucky 5 is I go into a restaurant, I meet 2 people I know. I buy a lottery ticket and it wins something. So he gets people to self-rate how lucky they are, and then he looks at how they behave. And there's a couple of things that come from this. I think one of the things, lucky people differ from unlucky people in 4 particular ways. Connected, they try anyway, reciprocity, and they look up. Connected. So as opportunities move into your life, if you know many people and you know who they are and what they're looking for, you're able to put opportunities out into the people around you. And if they know you and know what you're looking for, know what you're interested in, know what passions you have, your connected people are able to bring opportunities to you. So lucky people just tend to be more connected. And it's not just networking. Having 10,000 connections on LinkedIn isn't as important as having a group of people that truly know who you are and what type of things you're looking for and what type of opportunities to bring to you. So they almost serve like a radar, bringing things to your attention. So a quote this week: if your network hasn't brought 2 or 3 big opportunities into your life in the last year, maybe you're in the wrong network. And it really pushed me to think about, who am I trying to help? Who am I giving opportunities to? Am I someone that makes a difference to those people who are connected to me and are helping me in my network? Try anyway. So very often a difference between unlucky and lucky people is even when a lucky person doubts that they're going to be able to achieve something, they give it a try. There's a concert is sold out, they give it a try. They go and see if there's any spare tickets an hour before the concert. They go to the football ground and see if there's a spare ticket. So one of the things that distinguishes unlucky and lucky people is that lucky people try even when they doubt very much whether it's likely to succeed. But very often when you just commit to taking action, it's amazing what you discover, what resourcefulness you can discover within you as you move along the way. And I think a great distinction between unluck and lucky people is this trusting that if I get started, as I move along the path, I'm going to discover resources that I couldn't have known that I had or were available to me as I journey along the path. So lucky people, even if you doubt whether something will be effective, try anyway. The third is the law of reciprocity. And the law of reciprocity is something that allows us as human beings to be a 7.7 billion connected society. Reciprocity is that built into the hardwiring of our brain. When we receive a gift from another human being and we know it to be a gift, we feel obliged to return that act to the person. And Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence, looks at this phenomenon of reciprocity and how effective, lucky people are really good at just knowing how reciprocity works. And reciprocity, if you use it well, means that you, to the people around you, can just give and give and give. Because when you are giving freely, giving things that they know to be gifts from you, giving generously, the hardwiring within the brain of us as human beings is such that we feel an obligation to return that act, that kind act. So for me, one of the great things of having a network is the more I give, the more I help, and the more I let people know how much I want to be able to give to them, and I seek to understand what it is that they're looking for and what makes a difference to them, the more I give, the more a build-up of a full community of people that want to find the moment to give back to me will come. One of the places that reciprocity fails is in work. And very often it fails because we are not good at labeling well when we give something as a gift. So imagine you are an expert in something. I call you next week and I say, hey, friend, I know you're an expert in something. I need numbers on that. Could you put that into a PowerPoint and send it to me? I've got a presentation coming up. And you do that work. It takes you a few hours. And when I receive it, I open it, I look at it, it's excellent work. I pick up the phone, I call you, and I say, thank you. That really will make a difference to the presentation I've got coming up. And what people at work often say in this moment destroys reciprocity. They say something like, no worries, I'd have done it for anyone. Don't worry, it's part of my job. And when you say this, you destroy the way reciprocity can work for you, because I don't register that this has been something for you. I register it as something that has been part of your job, but it's not. You decided to do it for me. You decided to go above what is the requirement of your job for me. And when you don't label this well, you end up giving and giving and giving and nothing is coming back. When you learn to label your generous acts that are not done for anyone, they're chosen for specific people because you want to do it. If you label it well, then you're allowing this law of reciprocity to work for you. And you're not going to end up in that situation where you feel that you are giving, 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 and when you ask, nothing comes back. Labeling your generous acts of service that go beyond what your job calls for in a good way allows for you to be much more open with giving to your network at work. And when you do work for someone else and they say thank you, it's best not to go with you owe me. What Robert Cialdini recommends is when somebody says thank you and you know that you've gone above to help them, the words, you need to find some form of these words that work for you. When you hear thank you, what you say to me is, Connor, I know you would have done the same for me. So it recognizes that an act was done, an act that went slightly beyond what was in my job, and I have been generous. And it just means that I've registered that you have decided to give me something that goes over and above the basic connection of work. So labeling well when you make acts of generosity to people around you really allows you to just be more open in giving, and then when you need it, that help is going to come back. And finally, look up. A difference between unlucky and lucky people is unlucky people tend to be so focused on what they're doing that they fail to see the things around them. When they arrive at a restaurant, they're so focused on getting to their table, they don't just take a moment just to look around and see the faces in the restaurant, maybe recognize someone, see something that's going on. When they're working on something, they're so focused on the objective that they don't stop and just look at the faces, the people, the things that are around, the books that are on the wall, what's happening around. So one thing to learn is whatever you're really focused on, interrupt yourself every half hour, every hour, and just stop and look around. How are you? What's going on? What are the people around you doing? How are the different people? Who needs a word of assistance? Who needs a word of gratitude? So these four, connected to many people, try even when you doubt whether it's going to be effective. Reciprocity, labeling well when you give gifts that are chosen for other people. And four, look up. Don't be so focused that you've almost got blinders on like a horse in a race only seeing the end. Look up and see what's around you. And living a life of luck, living a life connected to many people, living a life where you see the context around you as you're carrying through life is not just good for the results that it can bring you. I think it's a more rewarding approach to living life, being open to more things than just that thing straight ahead of you. Connor here in ESA Barcelona. Hope these 4 tips for bringing more luck into your life serve you, so that this coming couple of months brings a little bit more luck and opportunity on the things that matter to you. Thanks for your subscribes, likes, comments, questions by email, shares. Really helps see these messages get out there into all the countries around the world. And thank you for your comments. It's amazing to see how far these videos are reaching. Have a good one.